Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I want to talk to you about certain things because I'm having a little bit of a dry period as a creator because the stocks that I covered, they are doing very, very good. And as an investor, obviously, I'm very, very happy with Palantir and Rocket Lab. But as a content creator, I feel the most useful that I do this channel to basically provide value to you, the audience. And I feel that I add the most value when I find stocks that are not discovered yet. Mad Money, hey, aren't you supposed to be retired and on semester, on vacation? What are you doing? So back to what I was saying, my stocks are doing really, really good. So as an investor, I'm very, very happy. But as a content creator, I don't feel like I can add so much value because both for Palantir and Rocket Lab, we need to wait. You know, time is the best friend of a good company and the biggest enemy of a bad one. So these two companies are doing very, very well. And then on top of it, I have been experimenting with options and option trading. And I really wanted to share my experience with you guys because I actually lost some money on options and then I gained almost $100,000 in a very short amount of time, testing some very, very risky strategies. And then I lost the 100,000 again and then some, and now I'm probably back to zero. And there's so many people talking about option trading these days, and I feel that my audience also has a lot of questions about it. And I wanted to do a video where I a little bit talk about like what I have learned, and you know, if you as a person should look into option tradings, what is the downfall, what is the advantages of option trading. And to be honest, that's why also I haven't done a video in like 2 weeks, because I try to figure out like how to do this video about option trading, because I'm in no way an expert. I'm a baby. I started in January. It's in September. I've had 9 months of experience. And oh, by the way, Jack, thank you so much for being here. The me in trouble in the title is as a content creator, because I had a plan to make a video every day this month, and I think I made like 15 videos this month, so every other day. And I was making videos every day in the beginning of August, and then I just felt, you know, like this super dry period. I couldn't make a video about anything because I don't know. So that's the part that I'm in trouble. And then the losing 100,000 in options is true, but I made it back. So it's very good clickbait, but it's also true. And so I wanted to do a video where I explained this, and then I couldn't figure out a way to do it. And then today I've had enough of the procrastination on this video, and I was like, okay, F it. I'm just going to do a live, and you know, my audience is going to be here, and then they're going to ask me questions and give me suggestions, and it's going to be cool. So this is why I'm doing this live, and I have a little list of things that I want to go over with you guys. So hi, Blake Anderson. So I have not looked into leaps. So anyone who is not in options trading, leaps is when you buy options that is over a year long. And the reason, like, I'm into selling options, so it's a different category. So this is why I don't have an opinion on that. I like to buy stocks. Yeah, so I'm not so into leaps. Yeah, everyone turned out ready to swoop in and help. So let's give you guys a few updates. I don't know if you saw, I lost my check mark on Twitter, and that's because I'm doing a little bit of spring cleaning on my finances, and I've been funny enough, recently listening to a lot of Dave Ramsey, and I started hating credit cards. I had a lot of credit cards, and the one where he got me is he said that if you have credit cards, it basically end up spending more. And I had a few experiences this month where I was with my wife, and we ended up spending like $200 more on one thing, and then $200 more on another thing. And then I realized that we're doing this literally just because we have the credit cards. And I've been using my personal credit cards to pay for the Twitter subscription, all the member subscriptions that I have, and many other subscriptions. When I have a company, and then it created a lot of extra traffic for me, because then I have to transfer the receipts into the company and then pay it back to myself. And then I decided to cancel all the credit cards, transfer everything to the company. And then when I started the process, I realized I cannot find the company card, and I had to order a new one from the bank. So the minute it arrives, I'm going to get my blue check mark back from Twitter. And if you are Matt, Dave G, or any of the other YouTube subscriptions that I have, don't worry. I'm going to sign right back up as soon as my card arrives. Then let's talk about options. That's the one that I really want to speak about. So why did I look into options, and why did I talk about it on the channel, and what advantages do I think that it has? So and most importantly, if you're listening to this, maybe you're wondering if you should look into selling options, and what are the advantages with that. So that my portfolio is together with my dad. It's via an investment company that we own together, and he is going to retire soon. We don't know when. I probably have a few years more with the portfolio. I'm hoping to make it into more than $1 million portfolio by then. And we have been faced with this thing that we know that Palantir is going to be insanely valuable. We know that Rocket Lab is going to be insanely valuable, but he cannot live on his portfolio. Like, we need to liquidate assets for him to be able to be in pension. And we did not like that thought, So this was a problem that was brewing in the back of my mind. And then somehow, with the weird ways how YouTube algorithm works, I came across selling options as a means to cash flow. And for many months I was like, I knew about it, but I didn't go into it. And then it was actually Matt Money on a Rocket Lab Weekly when he explained the concept to me that I don't want to go into now. That made me really seriously look at this in December last year. And then I decided that I want to try trading for options, or trading options, mainly selling options. And again, if you're here and you don't know about options, when you sell a put option, you're in essence insuring somebody else's stocks, meaning that let's say if you own Rocket Lab and you're worried that it's going to fall, you can buy a put option, and I can sell the put option to you. And that means that I would be willing to buy your Rocket Lab shares at a set price until a future date. So it's really like an insurance. So let's say I can tell you that if Rocket Lab stock falls below $5, you can sell your Rocket Lab stock to me for $5. I'm willing to buy it, but you have to pay me for taking this risk. If you're selling a call option, it's like I'm owning a stock, and then I'm willing to sell, let's say, again, Rocket Lab. I actually sold an $8 call option. So that means that if until January next year, Rocket Lab goes over $8, I'm willing to sell you my stock at $8, and you have to pay me for this risk. So it's a little bit of an insurance. And I even went into way more riskier strategies that I'm not going to go in here, that had to do with leverage and selling spreads and iron condors, and again, very advanced. We don't need to go into this, but I have learned a few things. And I feel that I can share a few things that might be useful to some of you. So if you're wondering if you should look into options, here is the truth about it. So the only difference between options and buying stock is that the stocks will not give you a cash flow. So they will give you a percentage return, which is, like basically fake money on your paper gains, you can call it, but it's not cash flow. Selling options is going to give you cash flow. And to be honest, if you are good at stock picking, you're going to way outdo whatever you can do with options. So if you're in your 20s and 30s and you're good at stock picking, and you don't need the money, you don't need the cash flow, you will make more money just simply outright owning stocks, provided that you're right about the stocks that you picked. And the simple reason for that is when you sell options, you cap your gains. And if you would have had more, like for example, if I sell a Rocket Lab call option at $8 and the stock goes to $12, and that means that I missed out on $4 of gains on Rocket Lab, but I did make a gain of between $6 to $8. So I didn't lose, and it was still a very good return. It's like 30% return, but I didn't make 90% return from 6 to 11. But the options, if you truly learn what they do, I think it's a very secure and safe way to cash flow between 10 to 30% on your money. And I think that there's very few things that can give you that amount of cash flow and that amount of stability with the income. So in that sense, it's a very, very good thing. So again, if you're watching this video and you're wondering, like, should I go into learning options? Again, if you're good at stock picking, you're going to make way more money than with trading options with way less work. Like, you literally just do your research on a stock, you buy it, you sit on it, you don't do anything else, and you're golden. If you are someone who is retiring, or for some reason you feel better with cash flow from your wealth, then selling options is definitely something that I would recommend looking into, and it's a very, very big subject. So I would really recommend that you start small, you learn a lot about it, you gain a lot of experience on it before you go forward. Yeah. And probably in my channel, I'm going to start weekly speaking about options and different strategies that I'm trying, and sharing my trades. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in this. Also, let me know in the comments, like, when it comes to options, like, what is it that you feel would be the most helpful if I do videos on? It's it's very touchy for me because I am not in any way an expert on options, so you have to keep that in mind. I'm basically a baby, and I am sharing my learning. I want to share my learnings experience. I'm working on getting a second portfolio that will be separated from the one that I have, where I only do option trading. And then it will be very fun to compare, like, okay, this is the stocks, this is what they did in a year, and then this is the option trading, and this is what they did in a year. And again, with all my content, I want to be useful to the audience, and I want to do videos on the subject that you guys are the most interested in. And as for the channel, if Rocket Lab and Palantir are doing as well as they have been, I'm of course sure going to keep Rocket Lab weekly. That I'm very, very committed to, but I might be looking at other stocks to see if I can find any other opportunities and any other undiscovered stocks. So Yeah, I want to see. So sorry, guys, I haven't been able to look at your comments. I want to see what you guys are commenting on, what you guys have questions on. You can literally ask me anything on this section. And also, please let me know, why do you watch my channel and what kind of content is it that you want to see the most from me in the future? So, Matt Money, when Lambo. Funny enough, I found as I age, I care less and less about cars. Me and my wife actually just talked about this weekend on downsizing to a much cheaper car than we have, and instead using the money to go on better vacations with our kids. So, not excited about a Lambo. Uh, Good afternoon from LA. Hello. Do you have SoFi? I do not have SoFi. And I'm definitely going to, because of the options, I feel like I have to look at SoFi because they have very juicy premiums. But I never been able to get over the when I looked at the stock before, I was like, this is a bank, and banks have very low multiples, and I just didn't see the bull case around it. Like I see some bull case around it, but I don't see like the Palantir, we go from $6 to $30, or Rocket Lab, we go from $4 to, I don't know, $50 to $100. So, but I'm probably going to look at SoFi more. How the hell could you be in trouble? You were sitting pretty with a great Rocket Lab holding. That's true. I'm very lucky with my stock portfolio. It's been so, many things in life that you do becomes way worse than you anticipate. Like anytime I've started a company, it was way more investment than I thought, much more work. Even this channel, like I thought, if you speak to Vince 3 years ago that started the channel, he would be like, for sure we would be at 15,000, 20,000 subs. And yeah, and many, and that's normal. I feel that many things in life, they go way worse than you think that it would go. And funny enough, my freaking stock portfolio is the opposite. It's like I started investing in 2021 with this portfolio. I was doing swing trading, and I basically way outproduced the S&P 500 until I lost all my gains in the bear market, and then I changed strategy completely. So in 2022, I went into long-term investing, sticking with undervalued companies and holding them for a very, very long time. And since 2022, I started the portfolio with around $120,000. And yesterday, or like last week, at one point, the stock portfolio was around 360,000. So that's like a 3x on the portfolio in 2022, 2023, and 2024, like in 2 years. And I was not expecting that. So it's one of those few things that went way better than I expected it. But again, I want to be humble about it, because I think buying Palantir, or having the increase on Palantir, I think it was luck. I didn't know ChatGPT was like, I knew Palantir was undervalued. I saw I saw how good that company was, but I definitely, I would like to say I was a genius, and I knew that ChatGPT was going to come and this AI boom was going to come. Yeah, so I want to stay humble. I think Rocket Lab is also, it's going to turn out very, very well, and it's been very well, very well. My average is 450. I have 65,000 shares, and so far I had two major calls. Okay, for a short time I had Tesla, but I sold it because it didn't agree with my thesis. And so far it's 2 for 2, or if you count Tesla, then 2 out of 3, and I'm very happy with that betting average. Hi everyone. If you're still bullish on Tesla and Palantir, any option plays you recommend? Yeah, I covered that. You rock. Thank you very much. Yeah, everybody turned out to help the community. Thank you guys. By the way, the Rocket Lab, the Palantir community is fantastic. The Rocket Lab community is freaking amazing. I've never been part of such a good community yet. And it feels really like a lot of retail investors bootstrapping, like everybody cheering everybody on buying even hundreds of shares. Obviously we have some whales here, like Curtis and Cyberprince, and yeah, really, really good community. Now we CA or Canada DM, you be careful, Vince. Okay, not sure what you mean. You can use your Amex to pay your Visa. I don't. I cut up all my credit cards this weekend, and I'm not planning to use credit cards anymore privately, because I did find that they make you spend more money because you don't think about your budget. You don't, because you just have the credit card, and I didn't think that the cost was worth it. I think Hood should be in the mix too. Palantir and Rocket Lab, Hood, new or NU. Maybe so far good holds for retirement in 10 years. I must say that I've been becoming really bullish on Hood. Amit Kukreya does a very good job on covering the stock, and he did this interview with Vlad, and I really love it when I see a multi-year growth with the stock. And the CEO laid out this plan of how they're like trying to do internationally what they have done in the US, and how much they can still capture in the US, and made me really bullish about that company. So probably I'll be doing some Hood videos also. Have you looked at how big call options sellers think Citadel, Delta Hedge? They take position in the underlying based on volatility and don't care what happens to the price of the stock. No, I didn't look at this, but in my limited experience, what I found was that the best way to do options is when you come into no matter what happens to the stock, you win. So I give you an example. If I would sell a put option on Rocket Lab at $3, that means that if the stock would fall to $3, I would be willing to buy Rocket Lab, and let's say I get paid, this is an imaginary example, 50 cents for this risk. So that means that I could buy Rocket Lab stock for $2.50. That for me is a win-win. Like literally I could sell this option and then not care what happens, because if the option expires worthless, good, because I got the premium for the options. If Rocket Lab falls to $3, I was anyways going to buy. So I just got paid on waiting, And same with writing call options. If I have Palantir and let's say I write a call option for $40 until January, and it's the same. Let's say I get paid $2 for that option. So it's like selling the stock for $42. And then again, I feel it's like a win-win, because if the stock would fly to $40, maybe I would sell anyways. And if it doesn't go to that, and then if it goes to 50 after, I anyways would have sold at 40, right? And if it doesn't go to 40, I just keep the premium. So that's what I have found is the best way to do options. My biggest regret in the early years is selling. Sold way too early on a lot of bangers. I would be filthy rich if I never sold. Trust your instincts, never sell, and just make and save more in regular something. I don't know what you meant with that last word, but I totally agree with you. That is also what I see, that if you can just hold on to stocks long term. Funny enough, we all speak about, like if you should pick stocks, invest in index funds, sell options. And the biggest thing that you can do to increase your wealth is none of these things. The biggest thing that you can do is make sure that every month you have an X amount of money that you can send to the stock market. And the bigger the money, what I'm trying to say is, let's say you're saving $1,000 and then you're good at stock picking and then you're making 20% per year. You would be better off finding a way how you can save $10,000 a month, send it to your broker account, and just invest it into your index funds. And 9% on $20,000 is way more than 20% on $1,000. And a lot of people don't think with this. And I think that probably I also don't speak about this enough, because it's such an obvious point, but I think it bears repeating, that the best thing that you can do as an investor is make sure that you have a lot of money to invest, and whatever you need to do to create this gap between your income and expenses. And then if your returns is 20 or 30%, if you just focus your attention on going from 1,000 a month to 10,000 a month, or from 10,000 a month to 50,000 a month, that will be like, it's exponentially more meaningful to your portfolio than your returns on the money that you invest. It's a very interesting concept. Net money. The problem is most people sell too close to money and too far out. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's about hitting singles, and most beginners sell trying to hit home runs. That's also, I agree with this. So selling options is a very boring thing after a while, because when you realize that all you need to do is just sort of go into this win-win scenario, that so where a lot of people make a mistake is, let's say Rocket Lab is a very interesting example. So you would buy Rocket Lab at $4. Currently the stock is at $6. So if you would write a put option for $6, you would get paid a lot of money. So a lot of people who do the options for the income would write it at $6 instead of $4, because it pays a lot more, but they're not really willing to buy Rocket Lab at $6 because they want it below $4. So this creates a situation where you can actually lose on selling your option, because you can be forced to buy Rocket Lab shares at $6 when you didn't want to have Rocket Lab shares at $6. And this took me quite some time to understand this concept. Joni Hot Sauce, I lost 100K in options. Do you want me to teach you how to trade them? Me, no, thank you. I don't know what you mean. Johnny, did you try to teach me how to trade options? And I agree, this title is a bit of a clickbait. I did lose 100,000. I did make back the 100,000. I'm currently on zero, with having gained a lot of knowledge, or a lot of good beginner experience on options. I have 40 leaps at $5. I guess you mean Rocket Lab. Those babies, depending on when you bought them, they are probably looking pretty good, and I think you will do very well with those. I want a penthouse on Mauritius. No Lambo for me, just the beater. Let me see. I'm not getting enough premium to sell short-term calls, even at $10. Too risky with the Wall Street bets spike. Exactly. Mark, you're right. I made this mistake also, that I was trying to sell very short options on Rocket Lab, or very long dated ones. And I find that if you go out like 1 or 2 months, you can still get decent premiums. There is still decent liquidity, and you don't have to take a lot of risk. Like, I think if you would sell a 1 or 2 month $10 Rocket Lab option, you're not taking a lot of risk with that. Yeah, just my 2 cents here. Vince, you being you makes the channel options questions. We are all building large positions in stocks we believe in. How to play options with big and long positions is my question to get that cash flow. That is exactly the deal. So again, if you're just joining the channel, if you are good at stock picking and you don't need cash flow, you will do much better just picking stocks and sitting on them and building big positions. The only reason why you would want to look at selling options is because it can provide the cash flow, but the percentage return, I believe, is going to be less than just from picking stocks. I think selling options, you can make 10 to 30% a year, just versus, which is fantastic returns, by the way. It's really, I'm not saying it's not good returns, but I am saying that 2022, when I started investing in Palantir, the portfolio was $120,000, and last week the portfolio was at 360,000, so 3x in 2 years. And that is only possible because I didn't do options. If I would have done options, I would be at whatever 30%, 2 times of 120,000 is like less than 200,000, which is still a very, very good return. But again, at that time as an investor, then you're valuing the cash flow. So for some reason, you need the cash. Maybe you are retiring, or maybe you have another very valid reason to start looking at selling options is, let's say you're up super much on a stock. Like Palantir is a good example. My average is $8.50, whatever, something in the eights, less than 9. And if the stock would go to 40, you would want to like trim the position. I hate trimming the position, but you could sell call options on your position, and that way you could like get in some money, and use that money to do something else. So that's also like a good valid way. So if you are up very much on stocks and you don't want to sell them, but you want to get a little bit of money out of them, call options is the way. Jacques, I'm probably saying your name wrong. Is it Jack? No, I don't know. Let me know how you pronounce your name. You're a big-time producer, contributor with Rocket Lab, and have been valued part of Rocket Lab community. You need to ride Rocket Lab to neutral. So I'm not in any way, shape, or form abandoning Rocket Lab. The thing is that when you find a new stock, you're all excited about it and you want to learn everything about it. And I've been researching Rocket Lab for more than a year now, or close to a year. It's probably more than a year. And I feel that I have found all the surprises that I could find. I even had the honor to speak with the CEO of the company, the CFO of the company. The company has clarified so much. Like, for example, as a content creator, the way I can be useful is, for example, Wall Street not understanding the Rocket Lab model, which they still don't, and then me, being able to explain it to the audience that the Rocket Lab electron doesn't need to. It's no problem if it goes to the next quarter because they're getting in the money, and this is the projections for the space systems, and Wall Street is not looking at that. This is the way they can monetize. So this is how I bring value, right? But when you have been following the stock for a year, you kind of like find what you can find. And now it's more like I need to follow Peter Beck interviews, which I'm going to do. The news about the company, which I do with Rocket Lab Weekly, but all this extra content around the company, like I cannot do a daily Rocket Lab because I feel like there's not enough, and also maybe not even a need for that, because the stock price has been doing quite good recently. If the stock price would drop back down to 3s and 4s, then I would feel like as a content creator, I need to put out way more content about Rocket Lab to give the opportunity for others to also discover this. So I'm not in any way, shape, or form abandoning Rocket Lab. My conviction is the same. It's just I'm not sure that there is room to do 5 videos a week on Rocket Lab. It's probably going to be 2 or 3, including Rocket Lab Weekly. And on Palantir, I'm part of the Palantir Weekly, and I haven't been able to do any other videos because they're just doing so damn good. Like, they're getting new contracts every week. The thesis is being more and more proven, and now it's just literally sitting and waiting for the stock price to play out what we already know as investors. So this is why I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 videos about option trading from different angles. And as part of selling options, I have to look at new companies. So probably I will do videos on Hood, SoFi, and these other companies. The professional option industry love to preach the benefits of selling options. There is benefits to selling options, but again, don't have FOMO. If you are good at stock picking, I think you will, as return wise, not cash flow wise, you will do better. When do you see Rocket Lab taking off, and how high, in your opinion, will it go? So I love this question. I think Rocket Lab is doing very well. Like we were very recently down in the threes, so I would say we have taken off. We went from the threes to in the sevens. I see Rocket Lab. I want to own Rocket Lab for like the next 20, 30 years. And I can see it becoming a 100 to 200 to even maybe bigger $1 billion company. That would put the share price to, the 50s, hundreds. But it will take years to play out. And yeah, I think the stock price has been taking off. It's been doing really, really well. Let me see. I've been writing options for a few years. My Palantir was called away as a result for $25. So not doing that again. Wouldn't recommend if you're absolutely long on a stock to sell cover calls. I kind of agree with that sentiment, actually. So this is why I want to have a separate portfolio. So if you sell cover calls, you always run the risk of the stock being called away from you. And if you are super long on a stock and you don't want to lose it, I don't recommend selling call options on it. If you want to get into a stock and think it will go lower, no guarantee, then yes, cash secured puts all the way, or else just buy the stock. Options should only be used if you would truly be happy to either own and sell at the strike price. Yes, I 100% agree with what you are saying. I want to go, like, I don't want to, I want to soon end the stream. And you guys have been really good on commenting. So I just want to go to the questions now. And if you have some final questions, please put it in the comments so I can answer them. Palantir option was way out of the money. It just blasted off, unfortunately for me. Made nice gains, which are now all in Rocket Lab, though. That's a good decision, Shane. Anyone have more insight to the companies reported on the Forrester in Palantir space? So I know which report you are speaking about. I don't have so much insights on the other company. There is another weird dip in the stock due to nothing Rocket Lab related. I'll be buying more leaps. There's no dividend loss after all. That's true. So Jack's name is a play on Jackie Treehorn from the Big Lebowski. No, Jax. Okay, not sure I get that, but okay. Databricks. I was surprised to see Databricks. Obviously, being in the Palantir community, I've heard Databricks' name mentioned a lot. I've never used the product. As far as I understand, their offering is much more narrow and thin than Palantir. So I never consider them like a super serious competitor, and I never super much looked at them. But I'm not worried for any competition for Palantir. I think that those guys are doing amazing. So yeah, it seems like this was all the questions. Guys, I really thank you for being here. If you're watching this on replay, then please comment below. What do you want to see from this channel, and why do you watch this channel? Like, what do you think is the value that you get from this channel? Because I want to know, because then I want to give more of that value back to you guys. And yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. I want to shout out to the 20. Can you believe it? We have 20 channel members now. You guys rock. Thank you so much. And see you everyone in future videos. Ciao, ciao.